Trish Contreras. I am the secretary of the Texas Progressive Caucus. I love seeing the collaboration that happens between Progress Texas and a lot of these organizations, especially grassroots organizations. So that's what I love about it.
It's Friday, May 9th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Education is at center stage in Texas politics as the weekend arrives on a few different fronts, starting this morning with Republican attempts to shape teaching at our state universities into a form that matches their rigid mindset, one that's frequently at odds with not only morality and justice, but sometimes reality itself, which, as you can imagine, is likely to alter the value of a degree earned from any university failing to teach facts and the truth. Chris Tomlinson at the Houston Chronicle calls Senate Bill 37 Dan Patrick's thought police law and the latest battle in Patrick's Christian nationalist culture war to ban independent thinking. That bill's in motion now through the legislature and would allow Republican politicians and their appointees to regulate what universities teach. For example, ending instruction and research into ethnicity and minority experiences. SB 37 would empower regents to make whatever changes they choose to how history is interpreted and relayed to students, largely transferring control over content from the professors who actually know the material to politically placed regents on boards who do not. And to give all of this teeth, this law would allow anyone to file a complaint directly to the Texas Attorney General's office against any college professor who utters a single sentence that person disagrees with. Again, this is one bill that some Republicans, considering recent municipal election losses for MAGA types, are thinking about watering down, so we'll see about that. But should it become law as it's written now, degrees earned from Texas state universities, the UT system, the A&M system, Texas Tech, U of H, UNT, Texas State, Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, Texas Southern, and all the rest will be considered suspect and not worth the tuition. Many Texas families, considering the expense, expect their kids to go to college in-state. Should SB 37 pass, that will no longer be a wise long-term financial move. As usual, they go even bigger at UT Austin, and it's not often that we take a bit of umbrage at a Texas Tribune headline, but this one's maybe a little bit sanitized. It reads, quote, UT system announces $100 million investment into civic leadership school, unquote. And I guess that's literally accurate. What reporter Aiden Runnels means by Civic Leadership School is a division at UT that started as the Liberty Institute back in 2021, as you might recall, which raised concerns among UT's faculty about the establishing of an institutionalized conservative agenda on the 40 acres. It's now called the School of Civic Leadership and hosts the conservative think tank, the Civitas Institute. UT has indeed announced a 9-figure investment for a permanent building for this school, which from its beginnings has been a conservative indoctrination effort. It was initiated, developed, and funded by GOP lawmakers and donors, including Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who once openly framed it as a pushback against the teaching of critical race theory at UT. The School of Civic Leadership's first class of 100 students will convene by the fall of 2026. Meanwhile, still on campus, the impact of Donald Trump's war on immigrants is having a huge impact on young international students in Texas who are here not only to learn, but to enrich our state and our country, both intellectually and financially. Those young people who saw America and Texas as lands of opportunity and possibility are being demonized and persecuted instead. Another here from the Texas Tribune and reporter Jessica Priest, who writes that Trump administration revocations of hundreds of visas have struck fear into the hearts of international students on all of Texas's college campuses that they might somehow come under government scrutiny. They're canceling summer trips home, deleting their social media accounts to avoid drawing attention. Many of them are even fearful of even leaving their homes. The Trump regime had claimed those visa revocations had specifically targeted students who had led pro-Palestinian protests or committed serious crimes, but the legal process has revealed that many of these kids had not taken part in protests, and some had been flagged for only minor offenses like traffic tickets. Immigration attorneys have advised these students to stay off social media to avoid having posts misinterpreted. It's hard to imagine why any bright kid in the world would consider putting up with this stress with so many other options to study in so many other countries who don't have this problem. Higher education experts worry that Texas's ability to recruit and retain international students, who generated $2.5 billion for the state's economy and supported over 22,000 jobs last year, has already been severely damaged. Still in education, we've been following HB 2, the primary public school finance bill that's been somewhat mysteriously idle in a Senate committee for well over 2 weeks now, while its so-called Texas two-step partner, SB 2, which established private school vouchers, was fast-tracked and signed into law by Governor Abbott days ago amidst much hoopla. Progress Texas Advocacy Manager Reagan Stone was on duty at the Capitol yesterday, and he reports that multiple sources note that HB 2 will be heard in the Senate Education Committee likely next Tuesday. While we continue to wait for official word on that, let's remind ourselves that HB 2 is not at all the historic windfall for public schools that its Republican backers would like us to believe. We like the way Raise Your Hand Texas puts it, quote, although the state has enjoyed unprecedented surpluses in the last 2 legislative sessions, our schools have received no increase in state funding since 2019. Combined with historic inflation, this means that the average teacher salary is effectively $5,000 less than it was in 2020, and that schools are attempting to maintain operations with effectively $1,340 less per student, unquote. And not only does HB 2 fall short of catching up with inflation, Reagan says lawmakers in both the House and Senate are even now in deep negotiations over possible cuts to its funding. Republicans got their vouchers, and now they'd like to leave the kids of Texas with scraps. Now's a great time to call your lawmakers at the Capitol and tell them to support our kids and our teachers. DFW and North Texas friends, please mark your calendars for Monday, June 9th. That's when we'll be hosting our 15th anniversary celebration in Dallas. Links to become a supporter and to secure your tickets are up now at progresstexas.org. A quick shout out to our generous event sponsors, Howard Cleon, Charles Zeller, Pamela Pearson, Alex Andrade, Carol Taylor, Chuck Cruz, Amy Forehand, John Mazzaro, the Honorable Bill Peterson III, Lisa Batson, and many more. Thanks, guys, so much for the support. We look forward to seeing all of you. Again, 15 years of progress in Dallas, Monday, June 9th. We hope to see you there, dear listener. Tickets and sponsorship opportunities are up now at progresstexas.org. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular, everyday listeners form the backbone of our funding. If that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. ProgressTexas.org/donate. Thanks to Roy Bishop, Robert King, and Karen Coningham, all of whom have joined the team. We appreciate all of you very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Friday, May 9th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We'll see you again on Monday.